What's up, y'all? It's Andrew, aka Life of Raj, back with another video. I do apologize for the brief absence and pause in videos. Had some other stuff to take care of and focus on, but now I'm back. So, with that being said, I'm super excited to unbox and review these models here. We have two Southwest Airline models. These models are ones that we're able to get from Airliners International, so we're almost finished up with all my collection from Airliners International. We got a couple more to go, so maybe about, let's see, I'm not sure, a couple weeks more of unboxing from Airliners International. I know I've thrown a few that weren't from Airliners International in as well. But with that being said, I'm excited to be back. We have our models here. These are both limited editions. And with that being said, let's prepare for takeoff. So we'll start with our first model here. So here we have the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-500. So here we have it in the golden livery, so very old here. One of the original liveries of Southwest back in the day. I remember I was a kid, I would always compare the liveries to see if it was gold or the purple ones, or I guess basically the Blue Canyon ones, not purple, Blue Canyon. Whenever I was a kid, I would call it purple. So that being said, looking at the box here, we have a decent box here. This box is a little bit beat up here, but we can see the design is so very good. So in this fancy font, we have here where it says limited edition, and then next to that we have where it says die-cast model, 1:400 scale. We do have kind of like a photoshopped picture here. You can tell it's photoshopped with your basic sky background with the clouds, and then we have a picture of the airplane in front of that background. Moving along, we can see Southwest Airlines, Boeing 737-500, made for collectors by collectors, Gemini Jets 2. And then looking here at the bottom left, we have here where you can look up closely. It basically says special, or not special, it says official Southwest. And then below that, we have here where it says produced under license from Boeing Management Company 737 are among the trademarks owned by Boeing. So if we look towards the back, nothing too much here, nothing of interest, just made in China. And then we have here where they promote their websites, so visit our websites for new releases, www.gemijets.com. And you can see here we have basically copyrights. So this is all the way back in 2004. So 2004, Gemini Jets, Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. So that's quite a bit of time ago, 2004. That's almost 20 years now. I'm starting to feel old. I was about 5, turning 6 around 2004. So looking at the side here, we have here where it basically says Gemini Jets 2, and then we have a picture of the airplane. So here it's starting to fade a little bit. You can kind of tell it's a little bit faded here. And then we have here Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-500, 1:400 scale die-cast, and then we have the item number. Looking at the top, not too much difference. We just have again our warning, small parts, not suitable for children under 14 years of age, and we have the barcode as well. Looking at the left side is pretty much similar as the side we just reviewed. And then at the bottom here, we have where it says like the Gemini Jets 1:400 scale die cast model, and all your typical jargon here, promotional stuff, information that you see on all your Gemini Jets boxes. So highly collectible, superior quality, as real as it gets features, realistic metal landing gear, and then here, even though the box is kind of damaged here, it basically says detailed printed graphics. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get into the box. I'll open the box up here, get a view of the model. So here we have the model. It's an interesting gold color here. I feel like this gold is a little bit better than the other ones, so later in the video I'll show you a comparison of the different Gemini Jets colors for this gold livery. And let's see if I can get this box to open. So here we have our model. After a little bit of struggling here, we have our model. As you can see, it is tail heavy. Also, I gotta be careful. It feels like the tail part is a little bit loose whenever I was holding it back the tail. So we can go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Hopefully we don't have too many issues with the macros of the iPhone here. So we'll start at the front here. We got our cockpit windows here, and then we have on the nose here the anti-glare paint on the nose, and then we have our L1 door, and then looking down we have the nose gear, and then we have the flap there. So it's very difficult to see since the print is so tiny here. But basically we'll have the registration number. So looking at the camera, I believe that says 504. And then moving along the model here, so we have our L1 door, and then like we have the golden livery, and then behind the L1 door we have the heart, and then we have our engines here, and then along the wings. So this is a 737-500, and this one doesn't come with the winglets. And then looking along here, we have there the exit door that goes over the wing, and then looking at the wings, there's good to decent detail here. So you can see like the arrows to guide passengers off the back of the wing in case of an emergency. You can see the indentations and as well as markings on the wings fairly clearly from a distance as well. Even though the model is small, it's pretty easy to see all the indentations and markings. So moving along, we'll go to the back of the aircraft here. So we have our registration here. You can see here it's November 504 Sierra Whiskey, and then we have our L3 door at the back. So looking at the tail here, we have our US flag there, and then Southwest. So this livery here on the tail is more closer to one of the original liveries, and we got the stripes here. It's the orange one and then the red one there. Looking at the horizontal stabilizers, so the horizontal stabilizers, there's not much markings and such like on this model, and it is very hard to see the kind of like indentions. If we zoom in closely or like bring the model up close to the camera or the human eye, and then you kind of can see it, but from a distance or like even like close up, it's difficult to see. I think it's interesting how like the wings are marked so well, but then the horizontal stabilizers aren't as marked as well. So moving to the right side here, it's pretty much a mirror of the other side. If we look here, there's detail of the cargo doors. It's a little bit difficult to see with the camera. It's a little bit easier to see with it up close, but from the eye, it's not as easy to see compared to like the doors. It's just not marked as clearly. So looking at the front is kind of, I guess, just your normal front looking thing. So I'll try to zoom in here, readjust the plane. This plane is very tail heavy. Every time I move it, it wants to sit on its tail. So you can see here, the camera's a little bit blurry, but There is some marking like above the cockpit windows, kind of like eyebrow windows, but it's a little bit difficult to see, very difficult to see with the human eye, or even zooming in with the camera and such. And then looking at the roof of the aircraft, there is not much detail here either. There's nothing like sticking out, it's all painted on. So you can kind of see like where the Wi-Fi box, or I don't know what box, I don't know if that's a Wi-Fi box or not, it's supposed to be, and then you have your light at the top, that red light. So this is all just painted on, there's nothing like stuck on, it's just all paint. And it's kind of acceptable. This model is an older model, like I mentioned on the box. It's at 2004, so this model is pretty old, and the designs are, and the mold is like old as well. So I guess that makes sense why we don't have any antennas sticking out or anything like that. So looking at the bottom, there's nothing much more in detail. I guess basically it's just the paint, and then we have our like main landing gears, and then the nose landing gear with the flap with the registration, and then we also have our Gemini Jets logo, and then the hole for a stand, even though this plane doesn't come with a stand. Most 1-400s don't come with a stand, but then there's also good detail here on the landing gear wheels in the back, as you like they were able to get that red color, or that red orangish color on the landing gears as well. So looking at the bottom, there's also like paint wise, it's pretty good. Nothing too much to complain about there, but I guess like with other things sticking out of the aircraft or anything like that, this model is lacking. But considering it's from over 20 or almost 20 years ago now, I'd still say it's a pretty good model, and it's worth having it in the collection, aside from it being tail heavy. So now I'll let you guys see the plane from all angles here. So we'll start with the left side, and then we have it from the back. So you can see it's very tail heavy, keeps wanting to sit on the tail. And then we have it here from the right side. And lastly, we have it from the front. So here you can see we have both planes now for the comparison, as I mentioned earlier. So this is the plane we reviewed here. This is the 500 up front, and then we have the 737-700 in the golden livery in the back. So these are both by Gemini Jets, so it's kind of interesting to see the color. I think this one at the front looks more accurate. The golden one in the back just looks too yellowy and a little bit too, I guess, like shiny, I guess, compared to what I remember seeing as a kid in real life. So the thing about these models is both of them are like easily tail heavy. It's kind of annoying a bit. Oh well, they're both nice for the collection, and I'm super excited to have both, and especially to add this one to the collection. So next we have another Southwest livery. So this one is one with the Blue Canyon livery, but it's the NBA themed livery. So this one also is a limited edition collectible. So we'll go ahead and look at the box here in the front. You can see at the top it says the limited edition collectible 1-400 scale. It's a little bit difficult to see with it being small. So in this box it's not big and bold or in a fancy font like the other box was, but it's still a decent looking box. The CGI and the airplane here is a little bit different from before, but it's still kind of similar clouds in the background, and we have the model with the airplane in front. So here we have Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-700. We have the official Southwest here as well, so it's the same logo as the last box we looked at, made for collectors by collectors, Gemini Jets. Looking at the back, so this one is kind of similar to other one we reviewed where there's not too much detail on the back. This one has a 2006 copyright, and then it's basically the same thing with mentioning their website and then the licensing and such for Boeing and Southwest and trademarks and such. So looking at the side here, on the right side of the box, we have basically the same thing, Gemini Jets, and then we have Southwest Airlines, Boeing 737-700, 1-400 scale diecast, and then we have the item number. At the bottom of the box, it's your same thing with Gemini Jets and everything they promote about themselves as being highly collectible and superior quality, realistic features, and landing gear, and the printed graphics. So here you can see on this side the amount I paid for it. I think I was able to negotiate this down a little bit. It's been a while since Airliners International. I don't remember what I actually paid for it. I know with these, I think it was that one guy who was selling a bunch of models so he could have money to buy his wife shoes. So I know he bargained down, or let me bargain down on a lot of them, so I got these for lower than what the price is here. So that being said, we'll go ahead and open the box. And this one has a little plastic filler, the other one didn't. I didn't realize that until now. So we'll see if I can get this box open without too much of a struggle. So I didn't have too much of a struggle, but I definitely heard something in the plastic crack, but oh well, we'll go ahead and get into the airplane. So we'll go ahead and start at the front of the aircraft here. I'll try to zoom in, see if we can get a focus on it. It's still going to be blurry and the macro is going to act up here. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the name at the front. It's very hard to see with the human eye as well as like on camera. The camera is blurry, but if you guys can kind of make it out, I'll read it out for you. It basically says Slam Dunk 1. And so moving along after that, you can see we have the nose gear with the flap for the nose gear. And it's difficult to see the registration number because this camera wants to act up. Ironically, with this camera, you have to zoom out for it to focus instead of like just trying to zoom in to get a better view. So I'll read off the number here. I believe it says 224. That's the number there for the registration. So you can see this model is also top heavy, or not top, tail heavy as well. But moving along here, so you can see here we have, it's basically NBA basketball themed. So we have the NBA here on the basketball, the hoop. You can see kind of like the net going down. That makes it a little bit difficult to read the numbers because it's right in front of where the hoops are, and there's the design for the threads, basically the net of the hoop. Moving along, we have the engines. So the engines are orange to like represent the basketball. And you can see moving along here, so we have our L1 door at the front, and then we have another exit door over the wing. There's good detail on the wing, so you can see basically where we have the arrows and like guide path for the passengers to exit in chance of emergency. There's good detail along the back here. I didn't notice this before, but it's basically that blue purplish color here that matches the fuselage of the aircraft. And so towards the back here, we have our registration. So here it's November 224 Whiskey November. And you can also see like the orange kind of like explosion from the slam dunk, which is, I think it's always funny whenever they have like They make like everyone goes crazy every time it's like an epic slam dunk or something like that. So after the registration, we have our last door here, so the L3 door, and then above that where the tail starts, we have the US flag, and then our blue canyon where it basically says Southwest and has like the red stripe as well as the orange stripe. So going back and looking at the wings, since I kind of mentioned the arrows, but you can see the markings, but then the indentations are decent. They're not as good as the other one. I feel like you can kind of see them from far away, and then looking at the camera, it's visible, but not like super visible. Also looking at the horizontal stabilizers, there's no markings here, and it's very difficult to see the indentations from far away. Even looking at the camera close up, with the light bouncing on certain ways, you can't really see it, but if you kind of angle it to a certain way, you kind of can make them out. So looking at the right side here, it's pretty much mirrored with the exception of usually, like, you know how I say this every video, like it's mirrored with the difference of the cargo hatches. But on this one, it is very difficult to see the indentations, the marking for the cargo hatch. So I don't know if you can see it in the camera. But it's there, but it's very difficult. Very difficult to see. I don't know, the camera can, like, you have to have it in a certain way where the light shines on it in a certain way in order to see it. And then even then it kind of keeps disappearing from view. I don't think I can even see it in the front part here where like the basketball is and like the net and the hoop. And I apologize if you can hear someone keeps opening the gate or opening and closing the gate at my apartment. That gate must be noisy because I can hear it with the doors shut. So looking at the front of the aircraft here, not too much more detail aside from like the cockpit windows, and then you have at the top nothing much to see. So I'll show you from a different angle. Looking at the top, there's not much here. It's just the like paint colors and such here, and then you have the red light, but it's all painted on. I don't think anything really sticks out. There's no antennas or anything like that. So if we look at the bottom of the aircraft here, I'll kind of zoom out a little bit here. We have good detail in regards to like paint wise. You can see like from the like swoosh of the slam dunk where it goes like from this here in the back where it's like the white part, the white tail, and then it goes into that big explosion on the roof. That's pretty good here. And then we have the landing gears, so it has like that purplish blue canyon color type thing. And then you can see also like the net and then the color from the hoop and the basketball, the orange colors and such. And then you have a hole for the stand and then the Gemini Jets logo as well. So it's kind of good here. You can see like underneath on the engines, like the texture of the basketball. You can see that like those spots or the dots basically. So yeah, I almost dropped the model there, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. I do like this model. I'm also happy that I got this and was able to add it to my collection as well. So here I'll let you guys see the plane from all the views or all the angles. So basically we have it from the left side, and we have it from the back, then from the right side, here we have it from the front. So here we have another comparison. So this comparison is more like that basketball themed livery. So, you know, ball is life, slam dunk. So here we have the Southwest NBA themed livery, and then we also have the America West Phoenix Suns basketball team livery. So the front, the Southwest is a 737 700, and then the America West Phoenix Suns is a Boeing 757. So I did review the Phoenix Suns 757 in an earlier video. It's the America West quadruple unboxing, so you can go and check that out. But going back to these two models here, I just thought they were interesting to compare because, you know, ball is life, or as in Southwest's case, they'll say ball is love. So they can kind of like a combination of this livery and their theme of their airline. So nothing else much more to say here. I just thought it would be kind of cool to compare and see the similarities and differences in the themes and the aircraft. Also, I kind of think it's interesting how like both Southwest and America West had a NBA themed type livery. They both also have or had, in America West's case, Arizona themed liveries with the Arizona flag as well. Just a interesting thought I had. A shower thought. So that being said, we'll wrap up the video here so you can see the two models for today. Some nice Southwest models to add to the collection. And they're quite old, probably older than a few people that I know. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. It means so much to me with all the increase in subscribers and views from my last video. And with that being said, when it comes to Airliners International models, I have a few more. So I have about 7 models to go through, and then there's a whole bunch of additional models to come as well. So with that being said, once again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.